Go for the pulls and the pools. Go for the oohs and the ahs. Go for the bubbles and the bubbly. Go for the story and the stories. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into the Legal Hands to the Face Philadelphia Eagles talk show. It is good to see everybody. Make sure you're engaging in the chat. I want to hear from all of you. Philadelphia Eagles 5-0. We had to push the show to Tuesday night this week because our Fightin' Phils were on last night. What's up, Rick Jansen? Good to see you. Guys, this is being simulcast both on the Legal Hands to the Face YouTube channel as well as JAKIB Sports YouTube channel. So either platform you're watching on, be sure to hit that like, subscribe, and share button. The more Philadelphia Eagles fans we could reach, the better. And if you're listening to the audio, this is a recorded version of the live show. You may hear me reference the chat. You want to take part in the next live show, check us out on Instagram. I always post a link to the live show so you can engage and you can comment. What's up, Xavier? How you doing? 5-0 is right. Feels like that game was an eternity ago, but we are going to break down the Philadelphia Eagles 23-14 win. And we got a great show planned tonight. In the 7 o'clock hour, we have former Philadelphia Eagle Todd Herremans joining the show. Want to talk to him about the 2023 Eagles team, talk to him about his 10-year career, really 11-year career, but 10 years with the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll talk to him about that. And then, as always, we will be joined by Dr. Chris Radcliffe at 7:30 to break down some of these injuries. We need to talk to him about Fletcher Cox. And the practice window for Nakobe Dean has been open, the 21-day practice window. So we'll talk to him about that as well. But guys, as always, be sure you are following Legal Hands to the Face on all your favorite podcast platforms. We are posting daily content to Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Threads. So make sure you're following us everywhere, bringing the Eagles talk. And if you haven't checked out the Philly Sports Power Hour with yours truly, we now stream live on the JAKIB Sports Network every single day, Monday through Friday, 10 to 11, obviously with a heavy lean on the Philadelphia Eagles, but we talk all Philadelphia sports, Phillies, Sixers, Flyers, bringing it to you all every day on JAKIB Sports. But let's jump in, guys. And again, feel free, engage in the chat. I love hearing from all of you. Love the comments. Love the engagement. But the Philadelphia Eagles absolutely dominated the Los Angeles Rams on Sunday. You couldn't tell from the scoreboard, and that was mostly because of their red zone struggles, and we're going to get into that, but let's keep it positive to start the show. An absolute dominant performance by this Eagles team, 454 yards to 249. They held that Rams offense to under 250 yards, only 195 passing yards for that Rams offense. Eagles throw for 295, and they outrushed them by over 100 yards, 159 rushing yards for the Eagles. They hold the Rams to only 54 yards. We knew that Rams team wasn't going to be able to run the football on this Eagles defense. No one has. Even with Fletcher Cox not playing, we knew they weren't going to be able to run the ball. But 28 first downs to 17, and the Eagles held the ball for almost 38 minutes. A dominant performance, especially in that second half. The second half possessions for the Los Angeles Rams, punt, 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 turnover on downs, end of game. This was by far the best coaching performance we have seen as Sean Desai as our defensive coordinator. This was by far Sean Desai's best coaching as the Philadelphia Eagles defensive coordinator. And Xavier Spencer in the chat, love how the defense adjusted at the second half. Absolutely. And that's what I want to talk about, were the second half adjustments. Coming into this game, this Rams offense was not only the number 4 ranked offense for total yards per game and the number 2 passing offense, they were in the top 10 on third down. They were number 8 in the NFL, converting third downs 44% of the time. And this Philadelphia Eagles defense has struggled all year against the pass and on third down. They were 27th in passing defense coming into this game, and they were 25th on third down defense coming into this game. And in the first half, it was more of the same. The Los Angeles Rams converted 5 of 7 for 71% in that first half on third down. I was throwing things at the TV. More of the same. Here we go. Can't get off the field on third down. Good teams. If you follow me on Instagram, I've been posting videos for weeks. Good teams get off the field on third down on defense, and they convert on offense to stay on the field. And the Eagles defense has been unable to get off the field. And in the first half, we saw more of the same. But in the second half, after making those adjustments at halftime, the Philadelphia Eagles held a top 10 offense to 1 of 7 for only 14% in that second half. That, in my opinion, was the reason the Philadelphia Eagles won this game. And we're going to talk about the offense in a second, because what they did on third down may be even more impressive, converting 72% of their third down conversions. Get off the field on defense on third down, stay on the field on offense on third down. Philadelphia Eagles did both of that. And let's talk about Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox ruled out for this game. We're going to talk to Dr. Radcliffe later in the show. Can we expect Fletcher Cox back? But coming into this game, Fletcher Cox had played over 70% of the defensive snaps this season. He's been playing a lot. And Jalen Carter, Milton Williams, Jordan Davis, they hadn't played more than 48%. Jordan Davis, Milton Williams were in the low 40%. So we knew they were going to get a lot of snaps in this game, and they stepped up. They stepped up, especially Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter played 70% of the defensive snaps in this game, and he didn't miss a beat. 2 sacks in that game for Jalen Carter. And he just looks so damn dominant at that defensive tackle position as a rookie. Right now, it's a one-man race for Defensive Rookie of the Year. And he's even in the conversation to be an all-pro. Forget about just being a rookie. Listen to some of these numbers from Jalen Carter to start this season. And Rick Jansen in the chat is right. Carter is a beast. Listen to some of these numbers. 23 pressures through 5 games. That is number 1 in the NFL, tied with Aaron Donald, who the Eagles shut down on the offensive side of the ball. That leads all defensive tackles, not just rookies, all defensive tackles, 23 pressures for Jalen Carter. 17 quarterback hurries, leads all defensive tackles, not just rookies. 3.5 sacks, leads all rookies and number 3 from the defensive tackle position. And he is the highest graded defensive rookie in the NFL per Pro Football Focus. It's really remarkable what this guy has done in such a short time. Number 1 interior defender from Pro Football Focus. Defensive Rookie of the Year for sure. And I got my eyes sight on even higher honors for this guy with how good he's playing. The key is staying healthy. It's a long season, 17 games. He's got to stay healthy. It'll be nice to get Fletcher Cox back to work that rotation. But it's not just Jalen Carter there that's playing well. This Eagles defensive tackle position is deep. And I mentioned my other show, the Philly Sports Power Hour. I had Eagles insider Dave Spadaro on the show today. And we were just talking about what a luxury it is that the Philadelphia Eagles lose Javon Hargrave in free agency, and they replace him with Jalen Carter, and then another year from Jordan Davis, another year from Milton Williams. Even Marlon Tupelotu, who didn't play this week because he was hurt, is also contributing. Kentavious Street, who they picked up from the New Orleans Saints, used to play for the San Francisco 49ers. He contributed. This defensive tackle position, we know how much Howie Roseman loves to build on the offensive and defensive line, and their depth showed this week against the Los Angeles Rams. And let's talk about another player on that defensive line, Hassan Reddick. We've all been screaming we wanted to see Hassan Reddick get back to the guy he was last season. And how much was that thumb injury affecting him? We've talked about it before. This is a guy who loves to use his hands, loves to get leverage to then use his speed around the outside. He gets that cast off, and there is no coincidence that in the 2 games since that cast comes off, Hassan Reddick has 3 sacks. And if Hassan Reddick is back to the form we saw last season on that defensive line, and now you add Jalen Carter, who has to be double-teamed every single play, watch out, because this Eagles defensive line is going to be good. And one of the crazy things is, with this defense, although they haven't gotten the amount of sacks that they had last year, I just went and looked. They are number 1 in the NFL for quarterback pressures. They have 58 quarterback pressures. They only have 15 sacks so far this season, which still puts them in the top 10. They're number 8 in the NFL. But they are 58 pressures, leads the league. And then they look at pressure rate. The pressure rate, which is the amount of dropbacks to the amount of pressure, they're at 25.8%. So 1 out of every 4 passing plays, the Eagles are getting pressure on the quarterback. That puts them at number 4 in the NFL. So although they're not getting there, keep getting pressure on these quarterbacks, and these sacks will continue to come, especially with Hassan Reddick getting in the form. Josh Sweat's been playing well, and Jalen Carter is an absolute beast. And let's go back to the secondary. Bradley Roby. This is a guy who hasn't even been here for a week, and he gets in that game on Sunday. And not only does he get in that game on Sunday, he plays 45% of the defensive snaps in the secondary, because I think this Eagles defense and Sean Desai realized very quickly Mario Goodrich isn't the answer. Eli Ricks isn't the answer. Cooper Kupp was having his day. They switched to Bradley Roby, and he shut it down. They did nothing in the passing game when Bradley Roby was in there, and that was impressive. And one of the things you worry about in the secondary is communication. And there was a play where the Rams ran motion on Bradley Roby's side with James Bradbury there, and Bradbury and Roby had to switch the receiver that they were covering, and they did it seamlessly. Incomplete pass, 3rd down conversion fails. Eagles defense gets off the field. That was impressive. This guy's a veteran. We'll see how much he has left, but I was very impressed with him coming off the street and the way he played. And if you guys are here in the chat, let me know what you think. Were you impressed with Bradley Roby in that secondary? I still think, if I'm Howie Roseman, I got to make some sort of move in that secondary, though. That is our big question mark on this team, in my opinion. Everywhere else, I think we're okay. Even at linebacker, which was a position that I was concerned about all offseason, because I didn't like that they were hanging everything on the Kobe Dean, who had only played 34 snaps in the NFL. Even linebacker, I think, is pretty good. And I got another question for you guys here in the chat. They opened the practice window for Nakobe Dean. He's eligible to come back on Sunday against the New York Jets. With how good Nicholas Morrow's playing, I'm not giving that job back to Nakobe Dean. I am not giving that job back to Nakobe Dean. And I'm curious what you guys think in the chat. Nicholas Morrow, according to Pro Football Focus, is the number 5th best graded linebacker in the entire NFL. He is playing extremely well. I would have liked to have seen him catch that interception he had a chance to catch against the Rams. I would have really liked to have seen him jump on that potential fumble recovery that he missed. But outside of those two plays, he's been very, very solid, not only against the run, but also, most surprisingly, in pass coverage and rushing the quarterback. We saw what he did last week with 3 sacks. So I am not just giving that job back to Nakobe Dean, but really a great performance by this Philadelphia Eagles defense all around on Sunday. And we'll break it down in the final segment today, looking forward to the New York Jets game on Sunday. And I think you're going to see more of the same from this Eagles defense, especially against that New York Jets offense. And I see Robert Driscoll in the chat. He agrees, don't start Nakobe over Morrow. I don't see how you can. I don't see how you can with how well Morrow is playing. And Nick Sirianni, love the culture he's built. And what does he preach more than anything else? Competition. Well, how can you just give that job back to Nakobe Dean? If we're talking about competition, Morrow has earned to stay on this field. He's earned it. And let's jump over to the offense. Because I think, and we'll get to the red zone in a second, so don't kill me in the chat, but I think outside of the red zone struggles, this was one of the best offensive performances that I have seen from this Philadelphia Eagles team. Jalen Hurts looked by far the best we have seen Jalen Hurts, not only throwing the ball, but running the ball. There was a lot of talk all week. What's wrong with Jalen? He doesn't look as fast. He doesn't look as decisive in the running game. He looked pretty damn good on Sunday, didn't he? 72 rushing yards and some big, big runs on third down. That one where he takes the contact, keeps on going, showed how powerful that guy is. But he also throws for over 300 yards. Second week in a row throwing for over 300. And this Rams defense, I talked about it in the week leading up to the game. They were not bad statistically. You look at this Rams defense, they were number 9 in the NFL, only giving up 296 yards per game. And they were number 7 in the NFL, only giving up 185 passing yards per game. You're talking about a top 10 defense in the NFL, and the Philadelphia Eagles did whatever they wanted to do. 454 yards against a top 10 defense in the NFL. And one of the things I absolutely love to see, and I know you guys did too because we've talked about it before, was who did they get involved in this game? Dallas Goedert. Right away, they get Dallas Goedert involved. He goes 8 catches, 117 yards, and a touchdown in the red zone. That's how you fix your red zone problems. Use your big-bodied tight end. Use the guy who's as talented as any tight end in this league, Dallas Goedert. And I did a video on this and talked about this on the Philly Sports Power Hour. Leading up to this game, it wasn't as if Dallas Goedert wasn't getting the same amount of receptions or targets that he had gotten in previous years. It was the play designs themselves. And in 2021, through 4 games, he had 13 catches, 188 yards. In 2022, 16 catches, 240 yards. 2023, 13 catches. But the difference was only 88 yards. You look at the 2 years before this, and through the first 4 games, Dallas Goedert averaged 14.5 yards, and then in 2022, 15 yards per catch. What was he averaging coming into this game? 6.77 yards per reception. That was the difference. The play designs. Someone as talented as Dallas Goedert, you have to get the ball to him down the field. You have to get the ball to him in open space to allow him to use his ability to pick up yards after catch. And what did he do in this game? 14.6 yards per catch. They got him right back to the same average he had in years 22 and 21. That's how you utilize Dallas Goedert. And I see Denise Larada in the chat. Goddard is awesome. I agree. Goddard is awesome. He's also on my fantasy team, which I love. So he had a big game, and I needed him. But there's another guy on that offense that I was not happy to see. And if you guys are in the chat, I want to know your opinion on this. Quez Watkins. Quez Watkins comes back from injury, and I did not think that this Philadelphia Eagles offense was going to get him back on the field and give him more reps than what they gave Olamide Zaccheaus. Because we saw Olamide Zaccheaus make the most of his opportunity. Olamide Zaccheaus, in the games that he was in, 3 catches, 69 yards, big touchdown, averaging 23 yards per reception. Well, what do the Eagles do in this game? They give Quez 52 snaps on offense. Do you know how many Olamide had? 9. They gave Quez 66% of the offensive plays, and they only gave Olamide 11%. Why? This is a guy who has performed for you when he gets in there for Quez Watkins. And what did we see from Quez? More of the same. That 3rd and 1, they run a bubble screen to Quez Watkins. It's blocked up. It's there. And Midnight Lexicon took the words right out of my mouth. That screen was well blocked. Absolutely, it was well blocked. Devontae Smith made a great block on the outside. All Quez had to do was cut up behind Devontae's butt. You got the first down. He bounces it outside, and he actually loses yards, and they don't convert on 3rd down. Why are you still going with Quez Watkins? And I know what the argument is. And I heard Nick Sirianni yesterday defending why Quez is on the field. And it's because he's a speedster. He's going to open things up for other players. You can't teach that speed. Well, I went and looked up Olamide Zaccheaus' 40-yard dash and Quez Watkins' 40-yard dash. Quez is fast. Runs the 40 in 4.35. But Oz, he's not a slow wide receiver. He runs the 40 in 4.49. So you're talking about a 10th of a second. I'm willing to give up the 10th of a second for a guy who produces when he gets opportunities. So keep Olamide Zaccheaus on the field. I don't want to hear any more that Quez Watkins is doing things that we can't see as fans because we have eyes. And I could see what Quez Watkins is doing, and Olamide Zaccheaus was doing it better when he was there. And there's another area on this offense, and I don't want to be all negative because, trust me, that was an impressive win on the road, traveling all the way cross country against a pretty good Rams team that was 2-2 coming into that game with a top 10 defense. So I'm not trying to be all negative. So let's switch to one thing positive first, and then we'll go to the negative. What the Philadelphia Eagles did on 3rd down. I talked about how good this Eagles defense was getting off the field on 3rd down in that second half. But what this Eagles offense did on 3rd down was pretty unbelievable. The Rams defense was the number 2 defense in the NFL getting off the field on 3rd down. 27% coming into that game. That was all they were allowing offenses to convert on 3rd down. 27%. The Philadelphia Eagles went 13 of 18 for 72% on 3rd down in that game. That is incredible. That is why their drives were so damn long. They had so many long drives, plays, time. They were converting on 3rd down, and they were getting off the field on defense on 3rd down. That's how you win football games in this league. And there's another way you win football games in this league, and this is an area this Philadelphia Eagles team absolutely has to improve as the season gets tougher. And that's in the red zone. Coming into this game, the Philadelphia Eagles were number 24 out of 32 teams in the red zone, only converting touchdowns 46% of the time. And I said on my Instagram, if there is a week where the Philadelphia Eagles can get their red zone right, It was this week against the Los Angeles Rams defense, because as good as the Rams defense has been, they've struggled against teams in the red zone. They were 26th in the NFL coming into that game, allowing teams to score 70% of the time in the red zone. So this was the week. Philadelphia Eagles are going to score in the red zone. They're going to finish. Because when you get to the red zone against these good teams, you can't settle for 3, and you certainly can't turn the ball over. You need to put up 6 points. And the Eagles on Sunday, 2 of 6 for only 33%. And that number is skewed a little bit because in the last drive, they weren't trying to score. So we'll say 2 for 5. Even 2 for 5, not good enough. Not good enough. And they know it. You saw Jason Kelsey's frustration on the sideline. You've heard Nick Sirianni talk about it. They need to get better in the red zone. And I'm confident they will. We have seen this Eagles offense improve every single week in every other category. Now it's time to focus on that red zone. Focus on that red zone and get it right. But to finish my rant on a positive, things are coming together. Things are coming together. This is a Super Bowl team who we were worried was going to have a Super Bowl hangover. And the Eagles are sitting here 5-0 with a 2-game lead on the Dallas Cowboys. And who else watched that game of the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers? That wasn't even a game. That wasn't even a game. And I know we got the Niners coming up in December, but I'm not worried about them yet. The Eagles need to take care of what's in front of them. And they got some tough games coming up before that Niners game. Just keep winning games. Just keep winning games. And then to also end on a positive, we need to talk about Nick Sirianni's aggressiveness as a head coach. Because at the end of that first half, there's 32 seconds left in the half. Eagles just go down 14-10. They get the ball back, only 32 seconds. Yeah, they had 3 timeouts. But I think there's a lot of coaches in this league who would have sat on that, played it conservatively, and went in the halftime down 14-10. Eagles were aggressive, and it worked out. 75 yards in 32 seconds to put up a touchdown to go in the halftime 17-14. Good teams, you will hear me say that on this show every single week. Good teams find ways to put up points before the end of halves. They always do. Watch your good teams. They are usually putting up points right before the half. It is demoralizing for your opponent. And that was a great play call. They get it down to the 1-yard line, 2 seconds left. That's the last play of the half. They don't score there, they get no points. No doubt about it. They're not kicking a field goal. They're running the brotherly shove. Touchdown. You can't stop it. You can't stop it. And one more positive before we take a break, and we're going to be joined by Todd Herremans after the break. A.J. Brown. How good is A.J. Brown? Last season set a Philadelphia Eagles franchise record with 1,496 yards. Had an unbelievable season last year. 88 catches, 1,496 yards. Do you know what he's on pace for this year? Through 5 games, he is on pace for 119 catches and over 1,800 yards. Unbelievable. And I see Midnight Lexicon in the chat. Enjoyed all of us on the post-game show. I appreciate you guys watching that. If you haven't already subscribed to JAKIB Sports, be sure to do so. We do pregame, halftime, postgame. Seth Joyner, Mark Farzetta, Derek Gunn, Mike Missinelli, Kayla Santiago, John McMullen, and your boy, Bill Colarulo. But we are going to take a quick break. We will be back in 3 minutes with Philadelphia Eagles veteran, 10 years with the Eagles, Todd Herremans. So stay tuned, guys.
There is a reason why the Garden Medical Spa, with 4 locations in New Jersey, has arguably the best customer reviews in America for a boutique medical spa. At the Garden Medical Spa, there is no fluff, just results. For the best in Botox, chemical peels, dermal fillers, hydrofacials, laser hair removal, and so much more, please visit thegardenmedspa.com. Book an appointment now in Voorhees, Sewell, Collingswood, or Northfield. Thegardenmedspa.com. No fluff, just results.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Staffing is not easy, but that's what we do every day, all day. The key to our success is storytelling, asking the right questions to find the right people. Hi, I'm Gary Kane, president of Kane Partners. We want to be your staffing partner.
Since 1977, it's always been about you, the community, at Rafferty Subaru. And through the Subaru Love Promise, we prove we care by supporting charities like So Good Now.
So Good Now helps kids in under-resourced areas by connecting them with student athletes to serve as mentors. We remove barriers so athletes can help youth in the corners of our communities where light and love are needed most.
When you choose Rafferty Subaru, you help organizations like So Good Now.
It's all about you at Rafferty Subaru.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
And the big story on Action News?
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back in to the Legal Hands to the Face show. Excited to introduce 10-year Philadelphia Eagle veteran and clearly a father, Todd Herremans. What's up, man?
What's up, Bill? How's it going?
All good, brother. I've been there, man. My kids always try to come into the office.
They only want to come in when the camera's on.
How you doing, man? All right?
Yeah. Life's good.
Well,
Life is great.
Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate you making time.
Yeah.
So I was looking at your stats today, man. 10 years with the Eagles, and your rookie year was what, 2005?
Yeah, 2005. That was when it kind of went crazy here in Philly.
The TO drama, right?
Yeah. That was my introduction to the NFL. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that must have been a lot of fun. And, you Douglas has told the story on the radio recently about his little scuffle in the locker room with TO.
Yeah, I believe he calls it a kerfuffle. Yeah, that was something that was pretty memorable. The whole year was just crazy to me because I didn't know what to expect coming into the NFL from a Division II school. And then, to be in one of the most, team dramatic seasons that the NFL's ever seen with guys, T.O. was doing the stuff in his driveway and then Coach Reed was just telling him not to come to work. And I mean, we had a brawl before our first game even started in Atlanta that year. And Trotter got kicked out of the game before the game even started. So that was all my first year, and it was a wild ride. Opened my eyes up a lot to, every year is a new year in the NFL, because when I first got drafted, man, we were in the NFC Championship game like every year. And so I was like, oh shit, we're going to go back to the championship game. I'm going to be in the Super Bowl before you know it. And then we went 6-10 and had like 30 guys on IR. So, every year is a new season. That's for sure in the NFL.
Yeah, and 05, your rookie year, they had just lost the Super Bowl in 04. So you're seeing what we were all worried about is a Super Bowl hangover. And I think you played in the NFC Championship game in 2007?
Yeah, 7 or 8, something like that, yeah.
So
against Arizona, right?
Yeah, Arizona.
Yep.
I thought you guys had that game, man.
Man, we did have it. There was a couple plays that definitely could have went our way that would have sent us to Detroit that year, I believe.
Yeah, because I think the Steelers won, didn't they? Bettis won in his hometown.
Yep. Man, and then that was another thing. It was still early in my career, and I was like, God, no worries. We'll get back here. We'll get back here in another year or so, and then never sniffed it again.
So take us through, because a lot of fans were nervous about a Super Bowl hangover. Now, you never went to a Super Bowl and lost, but you went to an NFC Championship and unfortunately lost, and you saw the team coming off of a Super Bowl. How hard is it for a team to do what this Eagles team is doing, going 5-0 to start a season after losing the Super Bowl?
Well, I mean, shit, 5-0 back-to-back seasons for the first time in franchise history. Obviously, it's hard to do since it's never been done before, at least here in Philly. It's tough, man. They've had a target on their back ever since last year, and everybody was talking about them during the offseason. Just that they were the team to beat. How are they going to shuffle all these guys that their contracts are up? What are they going to do in free agency? Who are they going to add? How are they going to be able to keep all this firepower with the money available and stuff? And man, Howie did the dance, and I think that they had an even better roster heading into this season than they had last year, which was at the beginning of the offseason would have been tough to imagine. But they're just. I think they got really good leadership. The coach is the one that seems to, get emotionally fired up. The rest of the guys seem to be pretty methodical and just show up lunch pail in hand and do their job every day. And you hear them all talking about it. Like they don't care if they're blowing people out. Yeah, I'm sure some of the starters would love to be up 40 points and take the fourth quarter off or something like that. But their main goal is to win every game and be 1-0 each week. And they're doing it so far.
And you mentioned Sirianni, how he's fired up and everybody else kind of has the workman attitude. You've played for 3 head coaches, right? Andy Reid, Chip Kelly, and Chuck Pagano.
Yep.
Were any of those guys similar to, right? You had Chip, didn't you?
Yep. Yeah, I was with Chip for 2 years.
And then Chuck Pagano in your last year in Indy.
Correct. Yep.
Sirianni wasn't there back then, was he?
I don't believe Sirianni was on the coaching staff at that point. If so, I don't remember.
Yeah. So take us through, what was it like to play for Big Red?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, that's the bulk of my career. So I have nothing but, fond memories of Coach Reid. I was really young and immature when I came into Philly, and he kind of saw that I needed a little fathering role. And he became that, that out of town father for me, since my dad was back home, and, just kind of kept me on track for the reason that I was here and not any of the other stuff,
Yeah, he was a good dude. I actually was working down there when you were on the team and Big Red was the coach. I was with Big Dom and Butch. So I got a little bit of an inside look at how good of a guy he was and how much the players loved him, man. Yeah,
Big Red, you got to earn his respect, but once you do, the guys will ride for him forever. And that kind of seems very similar to Sirianni. I mean, there's a lot of people that are rubbed the wrong way by Sirianni, and just by the antics, the looking at the camera, stuff that you don't think head coaches would be doing and stuff. But that's just seems to be his personality. And then again, all the the players' T-shirts and stuff that he's wearing, and it seems like he's really trying hard to be a player's coach. But it doesn't matter what it looks like from the outside in, because it's obvious the guys in the locker room respect him, and he's gained their trust and stuff like that. So it doesn't really matter what it looks like outside of it, as long as what he's doing is working inside the locker room, and it appears to be.
I had Dave Spadaro on my other show this morning, and what I was talking about with Sirianni is it's so genuine. He's not pretending to be somebody he's not, because if he was, I think it could even rub people in the locker room the wrong way. But that's who he is. He's a fiery guy, and players like that.
He just seems like one of those guys that would be playing Madden with his boys and just talking all sorts of shit. Like, that's what he seems like he's doing in real life now. And he's not able to talk shit to his boy that's on the other sideline, so he just does it to the camera or something like that.
Well, the fans love it. I know that. Fans love it. Well, I got to get your take, and I'm kind of sick and tired of talking about this play, but I want your opinion on it as an offensive lineman. The brotherly shove, the tush push. What is Todd Herriman's opinion about that play?
Let it ride. That's football. A lot of people don't think it is, but they're snapping the ball and pushing the other guys backward, and I think that's in essence moving the ball forward is what football is all about. And whether it's a foot at a time, 3 feet at a time. I think that the only reason there's such popularity about talking about it is just because they're so successful with it. If they weren't as successful with it, they probably wouldn't do it as much, and then people wouldn't even care. It'd be just like another team trying to sneak once in a while. But the fact that it's guaranteed, that they're going to use it on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. The defense knows it's coming, and nobody can seem to stop it. Well, there was one late in the game here this week, but for the most part, it's a high success rate, and that's the reason that they run it. So I don't see any issue with it. I'm all for it. I love it. I'm glad that I'm not on the offensive line right now, because man, when I was playing, they would call quarterback sneak and some of those. I guess you kind of want it both ways as a lineman. It's going to be just a big pile opportunity for you to get twisted up in a mosh pit of dudes in there for a QB sneak. So I was not a huge fan of the QB sneak. But in 3rd and 1, 4th and short, something like that, if they don't call QB sneak and they call like a 3-step drop or something, you come off the sidelines pissed off. As an offensive lineman, I think that you want to be able to just unleash and push the guy back in that scenario. I love it now that I'm done playing, though. I think it's great.
And you played a few years with Kelsey, right?
Yeah. What year did Kelsey come in?
I think it was was it 06? No, he wasn't in the league that long.
What? He's on like 14 now, right?
Yeah, I'm looking it up as we talk.
Jackson.
Kelsey came in 2011.
Yeah, so I was here for 4 years with him.
And did he start as a rookie?
Well, he came in, I think Howard Mudd's first year was when Kelsey was here, right? Yeah, I think he ended up taking the starting job that year. So that was when Andy was here that brought Howard in. Must have been a couple years before Chip.
Yeah, Andy definitely drafted him because he drafted his brother too.
Yeah, so 2 years with Andy and Howard, and then I had 2 more years with Jason under Chip. But yeah, I believe I was right tackle when he first got here, and then I moved into right guard for the last 2 years because we drafted Lane,
who's another potential future Hall of Famer.
Savage. Yeah, he's just. What's impressive to me about Lane is, he had the injury, the abdomen injury and stuff like that. And in order to come back from that the way that he has, I think it's just so impressive. It shows how much, work he does on his body and his flexibility and his core and stuff like that in the off season, off the field. But one thing Trey Thomas pointed out to me recently was just how he's kind of adjusted his game. Like Lane used to be this tackle that would let guys like run into him and he would just kind of absorb them and then gear down, and you would see him drop his hips, and he would just get to a point where guys wouldn't push him back anymore. And maybe that's what led to an abdomen injury. But you've seen him adjust his game a little bit since his injury, as to where he's playing with a little more extension now. He's kind of steering guys and controlling them rather than just absorbing them and then just stopping them. So, dude, I think he's playing lights out. He looks great. Kelsey's looking really good this year. I think up front, I think they had a great game this last week. They're really starting to gel. Even with Opeta coming in there and playing, there's not too much of a drop off there at all. I thought he played really well as well.
Yeah, he impressed me, man. They got a lot of depth on both sides of the ball on the line, for sure.
Yeah, the scary thing about that is you see a backup come in, and he's going to go cash in somewhere else eventually.
Yeah.
You want to be able to keep that depth.
Yeah, well, they lost Sayamala to Pittsburgh. Is that where he went?
Pittsburgh, or something like that, I think.
So let me ask you, because one of the questions a lot of people are having with this Philadelphia Eagles team is they haven't really been able to run the screenplay as well as they used to under Andy Reid when you were on the team. What goes into running a successful screen? Because it looks like, as athletic as this offensive line is, that's something I thought they'd be able to dominate with, and it just hasn't really been going as much as it has in previous years.
Yeah, I mean, I actually put a little bit of thought into this because the screen game takes a lot of work, a lot of timing. But also, one thing I think that could be here is you have to lose to your D lineman in order to get the screen, working properly. And if your offensive line doesn't lose a lot, then the D linemen kind of realize it, like when they're faking, when they act like they're losing.
You know what I mean? Yeah, no one's beating Lane Johnson. So if you got past him, it's like, what the hell's going on?
Right, exactly. And like if there's a 3 technique that, crosses face inside and Kelsey's not there, and like they're just like they gear down and head out for a screen. So I feel like we ran the screens really well because we got beat once in a while, especially me on the inside. I would get beat, and I loved running screen because I was like, man, I get to actually get beat on purpose this time. So, and then get out there and just look for somebody to clean up. But the screen game's also evolved quite a bit. You're seeing a lot of bubble screens, swing screens, pulling one guy, one offensive lineman screens, just trying to get, them out there. And I don't know if they necessarily need the slow screen game, the old, I'm sure that they have it in their back pocket to run. But I don't know if they need it as much. They have so many weapons out there right now. And they're not struggling getting the ball to the backs at all either, So I loved running the screens. I thought that we put a lot of time into practicing them. I think a lot of it has to do with your offensive line coach and just what he sees as the you can't practice everything, every day, every time. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to pick your priorities of what's in the game plan, what's important to you. And I think that a lot of the quick screens is the kind of the trend now rather than those slow screens.
Yeah, it's a really good point, man. And you were here with Chip, so does that mean you are a graduate of Stoutland University?
Yeah, I got my shirt. I went to the the dogs, the underdogs.
Yeah. Hungry dogs run faster, right? Isn't that what it is?
Yeah. Dude, I love Stout. What a great dude. And to see all the success that he's having right now is just it's so great to see because he deserves every bit of it. He's just a grinder. He loves ball. He loves talking ball. And he loves the guys that play for him. And you can see that on the field. These guys don't want to let him down. They're out there grinding, trying even harder just because of the relationship they have with him. But man, yeah, it's great to see him last through, what is this, his 3rd head coach?
Yeah, because he was with Chip, he was with Doug, and now he's with Nick.
Yeah. I mean, good coaches find a job, so it doesn't surprise me, but it's great to see. I'm glad that he's still in Philly.
I still can't believe what he was able to do with Jordan Mailata. I mean, I know Mailata is a freak of nature with his athleticism, but from a guy who's never played football to now being one of the better left tackles in the NFL, it's impressive, man.
It really is, and I feel like that's a dream for offensive line coaches to catch somebody like that they can just mold, and then it's like their project. And when they see him hit the levels of success that he's hit, they can just be like, that's a lot of me has to do with that, so that's like Stoutland's project. He's looking great. Dude, the thing about Jordan is that dude is just so massive. When you see him in person, it's like he's so big. He's like a dang refrigerator walking around. I mean, he's so wide, and it's weird for me to say that because people always say that I'm so big, but man, he makes me feel so scrawny being around him. But just watching him develop, man, it's been very impressive. I think he puts a lot of time into his craft as well. It's not just that there was this coach that took this this kid that had some ability and turned him into this thing. It takes a lot of effort from both sides. I'm sure there was plenty of headbutting going on a few times, but just to see him reach the level that he has, it's very exciting for the program to find a steal like that.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Was 7th round draft pick for a left tackle. Incredible. Speaking of another draft pick, we talked about how they replenished this roster. And they lose Javon Hargrave at the defensive tackle position, and Jalen Carter falls to the Eagles at 9. They move up a spot to get him. How impressed are you with him as a rookie in Jalen Carter?
I've never really seen a rookie dominate like that before. I'm nothing but impressed. I talk about it every week, every show I'm on. I'm just like, man, this guy, I don't know how we ended up with him. I don't know how he fell down that far. I mean, there were some issues supposedly, but man, what a gift, especially with those guys in the locker room that he's with, Fletcher and BG, just such a great crew to learn from and to have as mentors. And, those guys are hard workers as well. So it's a perfect situation for him to just come in and shine. He's got a great football brain too. What you heard him talking about, I think last week, he was watching some extra film and he picked up something on the quarterback's cadence that was helping him get a good jump on the ball or something like that. And that's not something you generally hear from like a rookie. That's something you'll hear from like a 3rd or 4th year player that has kind of got their ability figured out, learned the scheme, knows their job, and now can kind of try to find those little nuances to give them an edge. Usually that takes a few years to develop in the NFL, and to hear that he's already at that point where he can start picking those things out and putting the time in on film and stuff like that, that's awesome, dude. That's so great.
It's been impressive. And then I'm also been impressed about how well Fletcher Cox has been playing this late into his season. He was playing over 70% of the snaps. I know he needed the epidural last week, but he's playing a lot of reps too. How impressed are you with Fletch?
I mean, I'm impressed that, it's almost like a little resurgence, it's nothing that I haven't seen. Like, I know that Fletch is a good player. I know that he can dominate. He used to give me fits when he first got here, in one-on-ones and stuff like that. But, sometimes it takes, some fresh legs in there, some younger guys that, might be pressing you for your top dog spot or something like that to give you a little boost, put a little fire under your butt to get you going. And, whatever it is, he's playing well. I was just thinking, same thing with BG. Did you see BG just destroy that center this last week?
Oh my God. Yeah. I watched the games in the green room with Seth Joyner every week because we do the pregame and postgame stuff.
Yeah.
And we were just laughing, man. BG still got it, man. He still got it.
Dude, he absolutely destroyed that dude. Put him on roller skates, threw him on his back, and then jumped over. And I was hoping so bad that he got the quarterback on that one, but the dude just slipped out.
And I'm sure BG didn't talk any smack at all after he did that.
No, not at all. BG doesn't.
BG doesn't talk. Well, I just got a couple more questions for you, man, before I let you run. Another area that this Eagles offense has struggled with to start the season, and they've really been good. I hate to even say they've struggled because they're in the top 5 in the NFL in almost every category, which is unbelievable. But the red zone, they haven't been able to convert in the red zone as much as we want to see them convert. Why is it so much harder to score once you get inside the 20 in the NFL?
It's a good question, dude. I wish I had that answer many years in my career. we always, when I was playing, it seemed like damn near every team that I was on, we would struggle once we got down to the red zone, and we would just kind of sputter. I don't know what it is. The field shortens. Maybe there aren't as many holes in the defense. The defense, generally, once you get inside the red zone, they shift to a different defense. In the red zone, usually you have your red zone offense with your script that is generally different plays than you run out in the other parts of the field. So you move on to a different list of plays and stuff like that. I don't know. To be honest, that's one of the great mysteries of football, in my opinion, is why good teams can sputter down in the red zone. But they haven't. I don't think that they're necessarily struggling in the red zone, but yeah, it could be better. They could be getting more points, but Jake Elliott's doing his job also.
So good, man. Well, you used to play with another great kicker in David Akers.
Yeah.
So fun fact: I used to walk the tee out to David Akers from the sideline after the kickoff kid, because some people would say to me, "What do you mean you walk the tee? Isn't there a kid that does that?" I'm like, "Yeah, just for the first one, and then I do it every other time."
Yeah, the kids can't pay attention that long.
But yeah, he's just such a stud, man. Jake Elliott, what he's been able to do for this team.
Yeah, Philly's been spoiled with good kickers for a big chunk here, and you don't really realize how crucial a good, consistent kicker is until you don't have one. But dude, Jake Elliott's been crushing it. I feel like he's could be a possible MVP on the team at this point. He's putting his hat in the ring as well.
That kick in overtime against Washington was so clutch, man. So clutch. Well, let me ask you one more question, and this may be a tough one, Todd. So over your 11-year NFL career, what is your best memory from those 11 years?
That is tough. A lot of good memories. Man, one game that kind of sticks out to me because it was so fun. It was kind of made me feel like a little kid. The snow game against Detroit.
LaShawn went off, man.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we had a good day running the ball, which makes it a better memory. And it was against Ndamukong Suh, and it was in like freaking 3 feet of snow or something like that,
which came out of nowhere. Do you remember? No one thought it was going to snow like that.
No, I had no idea that we were even expecting snow. I remember going out of pregame and thinking to myself like, it's going to be a little wet, it looks like. And then I was like, well, that's okay. Maybe Sue won't get such a good get off, and he'll be a step behind or something like that. And then I came out for warm-ups, and it was just dumping out there. And I was like, this is great. This is great. This is going to take him completely out of his game. I'm going to be able to just kind of feel around out there and not get abused at all. So, other than that, we had a lot of good seasons, a lot of good ball, a lot of good memories. Winning the NFC East was always a good memory. Victories against Dallas are great to remember. I mean, the one that sticks out whenever people ask me is always that snow game, though.
Yeah, it looked fun. So I can only imagine how much fun it was to play in it.
Yeah.
So and didn't I just see you? You're a movie star now, weren't you? In the Kelsey documentary.
Movie star, yeah. That was fun. They did a great job with that. I didn't really know what that was going to turn into. We got together to play some poker, and they said there was going to be some cameras around because Kelsey's trying to think about they're going to film like his transition into retirement or something, and then it just kind of turned into what it turned into because he didn't retire, and just so happened that they, were able to make it to the Super Bowl and play against his brother, and just a cool documentary that they got so much footage about that special season. What a great player, great dude. Deserves all the success he's got right now.
Yeah, we're lucky that he keeps coming back. I don't know how many more years we got him, but Eagles fans know how lucky we are for sure.
Right.
Well, Todd, I'll let you get back to the family, man. I can't thank you enough. This was great stuff. I know the fans enjoyed it as well, and hopefully we'll talk soon, brother.
Yeah, Bill, thanks for having me on. Hey, one thing real quick. So Trey Thomas and I started this YouTube thing, YouTube TV show called Between the Vines, where we travel around to different wineries every week and do like an Eagles recap of the game and stuff. So,
Oh, that's awesome, man. I'll have to check it out.
if anybody wants to check it out, it's called Between the Vines, and you can see it on our Twitter or our X or whatever, and also on YouTube. So.
Cool. I'll make sure I'm going to check it out, and I'll share it too for everybody to be able to follow. Between the Vines with Todd Harrimans and Trey Thomas. Looking forward to it, man. Thanks again, brother.
Good to see you, man.
You too. Well, that was an awesome interview. Todd's such a good dude. Got some cool insight there. I'm sure he's got even more stories that he could share. So hopefully we'll try to get him back on, but we'll have to check out his Between the Vines show as well. Guys, we're going to take one more quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Dr. Chris Radcliffe about some of these injuries and what we can expect for the Week 6 matchup against the New York Jets. Stay tuned, everybody.
There is a reason why the Garden Medical Spa, with 4 locations in New Jersey, has arguably the best customer reviews in America for a boutique medical spa. At the Garden Medical Spa, there is no fluff, just results. For the best in Botox, chemical peels, dermal fillers, hydrofacials, laser hair removal, and so much more, please visit thegardenmedspa.com. Book an appointment now in Voorhees, Sewell, Collingswood, or Northfield. Thegardenmedspa.com. No fluff, just results.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Staffing is not easy, but that's what we do every day, all day. The key to our success is storytelling, asking the right questions to find the right people. Hi, I'm Gary Kane, president of Kane Partners. We want to be your staffing partner.
Since 1977, it's always been about you, the community, at Rafferty Subaru. And through the Subaru Love Promise, we prove we care by supporting charities like So Good Now.
So Good Now helps kids in under-resourced areas by connecting them with student athletes to serve as mentors. We remove barriers so athletes can help youth in the corners of our communities where light and love are needed most.
When you choose Rafferty Subaru, you help organizations like So Good Now.
It's all about you at Rafferty Subaru.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
For the big story on Action News,
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back into the Legal Hands to the Face show. As always, at 7:30, we are joined by Dr. Chris Radcliffe. What's up, Doc? How are you, man?
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Eagles are 5-0. I'd be better if the Phillies won last night, but
Yeah,
Eagles are 5-0.
What can you say? It's magic. We're seeing not too many bad injuries this week. I I feel like we're gonna have a short segment. It's a good thing.
It's a very good thing. As much as I'd love to see Dr. Radcliffe, we don't like having things to talk about because we want a healthy Philadelphia Eagles team. But before we get into it, Doc, why don't you remind everybody where they could find you if they ever need any orthopedic help?
Yeah, hi. So, thanks for having me again. I'm a spine surgeon. I practice. I have an office in Cherry Hill, an office in Summers Point, and an office in Toms River. And I take care of all different disorders of the spine, predominantly cervical spine, lumbar spine. So, if you have a back pain or neck pain or a problem, please give me a call.
And former doctor for the Philadelphia Eagles, went to Harvard University, Duke Medical School. So pretty credentialed, pretty credentialed. Well, let's jump right in. Something that I'm sure you have experience with are epidural injections. And
Yes.
Fletcher Cox misses the game because it was reported he had an epidural to his lower back. And a lot of people hear epidural and they immediately think of a woman giving birth. Well, can you
Yeah.
take us through kind of what an epidural is into the spine?
Yeah, sure. So the spine there has like soft parts, which are discs. Like the red thing here is the disc, and it's squishy. People use the jelly donut analogy or other analogies for it, but essentially some of the inner red stuff can kind of come out, and if it does, it can lean on this yellow thing, the nerve, and if that happens, then it's very painful. That's a herniated disc. Basically a tear in the cartilage that leans on a nerve, and it can cause a combination of back pain and leg pain. So, a lot of times steroids are very effective and very helpful for reducing the pain and inflammation from herniated discs, and from helping to get them back in the game. They're different from the epidurals that people get during childbirth, because the epidurals during childbirth are done just with pain medicine without any steroids. The key to the epidurals done in spine care is that steroids are given along with it, and the idea is that the inflammation goes down because the steroids, and then people feel better. Generally takes about a week, maybe 10 days for the medicine to kick in. So that's why Cox missed last week's game, which it looks like it was his first game he missed in a long time, but I think, I feel optimistic that he could be back for week 6.
That's good, man. That is good because Fletch has been playing really well. As good as the young guys are playing, it'd be nice to have a guy like Fletcher Cox back on the field this week. Well, let's talk about another defensive tackle. It was reported that Marlon Tuipilotu has a triceps injury and he misses the game. What could he be dealing with a triceps injury?
So the triceps is that muscle on the back of the arm. It helps to straighten the arm out. It's the muscle you work when you're doing bench press, and so it's unlikely that it's torn. The biceps on the front of the arm tears quite often, but the triceps almost never tears. The tendon almost never tears. I would surmise it's just an overuse or like a strain. Again, a strain is damage to the spot where the tendon connects into the bone, and a sprain is damage to where the ligaments that connect the bones together. But I feel pretty comfortable guessing that it's a triceps injury. I mean, remember, a lot of his job involves just pushing things and using his triceps, and so I suspect it's that, and I suspect that with some time and rest, that we could see him back. He probably will not be fully back up and running, I would think, by week 6, because a lot of times those injuries take about 10 days or so to go down. But fingers crossed.
Yeah, and another guy on that defensive side of the football, linebacker Nakobe Dean. We talked to him about him after week 1, had the foot injury. They put him on IR. They just activated his 21-day practice window. So it's been about 4 weeks now since he had that foot injury. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so we kind of talked about this in week 1, and if it was a true Lisfranc injury where like the joints in the middle of the foot were totally torn and destroyed, there's no way he would be back. So we kind of surmised it was a sprain, And I think that the timing is very consistent with that. I feel really optimistic that he will be able to get back pretty quickly. I mean, for the most part, I mean, since you use your foot obviously for weight bearing and walking, I think we could that the fact that he's cleared to practice kind of means that he's probably at least ambulating with minimal pain or no pain, and he's had some time to heal, and so I'm pretty optimistic. He may have a little rust on him, but I feel that we could perhaps see him back on the field in 2 weeks.
And we keep working our way back on that defense. Started at the D-line, then the linebacker. Now let's go back to the safety position. Sidney Brown misses another week with a hamstring injury. He did have limited practice this week.
Yeah.
Are you confident he can make it back?
Yeah, the hamstring's another kind of tendon, predominantly the tendon where it attaches onto the pelvis. The hamstring actually attaches. You can see my spine model here. So the hamstring actually attaches like right on the back of the pelvis back there, and there are these powerful muscles that pull on the pelvis and on the back of the thigh. And so I would suspect that there's an overuse and strain and pull there. I think that it's really impressive that he's able to practice. I think I mentioned last week the phases of recovery generally involve being able to run, and what you do is you just sort of test the velocity they can run at, and the faster they run, the more they're asking of their hamstring. So I think that we could assume also that he is walking pain-free and probably at least running at below his maximum speed pain-free. And the real question will be if we can get him up to maximum speed and still have him pain-free, that we can see him on the field. I think it's certainly possible this week, if not next week. He's questionable at this point.
And then jumping over to the offense, Cam Jurgens, they put him on IR, which means he's out for at least 4 weeks. Foot injury, still in that walking boot. You think it's going to be something similar to what we saw with Nakobe Dean?
I absolutely do. Yeah, I think just some sort of ligament injury in the foot. The fact that he's walking on it's a really good sign. If it was a fracture or something else, he would be non-weight bearing. So I think we can be optimistic. I was sad to see him go on IR and the idea that he'll be out for that long, but I do feel optimistic that he'll be back playing, at some point before the end of the season.
And
Quez Watkins was back.
Quez Watkins made it back from his hamstring.
Yeah.
But we're talking about Quez and we're talking about Nakobe Dean. There's two guys that at the beginning of the show, I was talking about whether or not I even want them on the field because I think Olamide Zaccheaus played well in Quez's absence, and I think Nicholas Morrow is playing really well in Nakobe Dean's absence. But you want all your guys healthy. It helps out on special teams.
Yeah, and I mean we want options, but yeah, I agree. It'll be a challenge to figure out where both of those guys fit in light of the excellent performance of the secondary.
Yeah, it was a good game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a really good game.
So you're a big Eagles fan now, right? Not from Philly, but you grew to be a Philly fan.
Yeah, I'm from New Orleans originally, so I grew up, in the '80s, the era of the Aints, where people wearing brown bags in their head. I remember one year the Pope blessed the Saints, and we all had those "Bless You Boys" shirts. But yeah, I've been up here for 13 years now. I've had the privilege of being on the field and being, spine physician for a couple of the games, and my kids, my family, we're all Birds fans now.
Love it.
We bleed green.
I love it. And you bleed in red too, but not because of the color red for the blood for the Phillies, right? We're rooting for the Phillies.
Exactly. Yeah. Red and green. Yeah.
Red and green. Well, Doc, I really appreciate you making the time. I know how busy you are. And I'm going to tell you now and tell our viewers now as well. We're going to do this show Tuesday next week as well, because I'm taking a Disney cruise with the kids. So I will not be here on Monday next week. So we're going to do it Tuesday. Okay.
But you could still watch the game, right?
Oh, I'm not missing the game. I don't miss a game. I don't care where I am. I'm watching games, man.
Yeah.
Doc, I really appreciate you making the time, brother. We'll talk soon, man.
Great. Thank you.
All right, guys. So that was Dr. Radcliffe breaking it all down. So all positive news, it appears. Looks like maybe Sidney Brown will be back. Fletcher Cox will be back. Cam Jurgens is right on schedule to come back, hopefully, from that foot injury. So Eagles are getting healthy. They're winning games. The offense is improving. The defense is improving. When we come back, we're going to take one more break. We come back. I want to look forward to this New York Jets game on Sunday. Some people are concerned. Is this a trap game? We're going to talk about it. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back.
There is a reason why the Garden Medical Spa, with 4 locations in New Jersey, has arguably the best customer reviews in America for a boutique medical spa. At the Garden Medical Spa, there is no fluff, just results. For the best in Botox, chemical peels, dermal fillers, hydrofacials, laser hair removal, and so much more, please visit thegardenmedspa.com. Book an appointment now in Voorhees, Sewell, Collingswood, or Northfield. Thegardenmedspa.com. No fluff, just results.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Staffing is not easy, but that's what we do every day, all day. The key to our success is storytelling, asking the right questions to find the right people. Hi, I'm Gary Kane, president of Kane Partners. We want to be your staffing partner.
Since 1977, it's always been about you, the community, at Rafferty Subaru. And through the Subaru Love Promise, we prove we care by supporting charities like So Good Now.
So Good Now helps kids in under-resourced areas by connecting them with student athletes to serve as mentors. We remove barriers so athletes can help youth in the corners of our communities where light and love are needed most.
When you choose Rafferty Subaru, you help organizations like So Good Now.
It's all about you at Rafferty Subaru.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
For the big story on Action News,
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back into the Legal Hands to the Face Philadelphia Eagles talk show. Some great stuff tonight. Todd Herriman's was excellent. Dr. Radcliffe, always good, but some good news on the injury front. Hopefully, Eagles are getting healthy and all these guys are coming back. I know those D tackles are playing well, but it'd be nice to have a guy like Fletch there because you can keep those guys fresh. It's a long season to have a rotation of really 5 guys who can cause interior pressure and can stop the run is a real luxury in the NFL. But the Eagles are 5-0, looking to go 6-0 this week against the New York Jets. Some people are concerned. Could this be a trap game? I don't think so. Number one, I think the Philadelphia Eagles leadership is good enough, both from the head coach and from the players, Jalen Hurts, Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson, Brandon Graham, and Fletch, that they're not going to allow that to happen. The one thing you can say about this team under Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, they don't really have those duds of games. And when they do, they usually figure out how to win. And that's been pretty impressive Jalen Hurts, 22-1 in the regular season is just unheard of. Not many quarterbacks have done it. I forget what the stat was, but I think there's only like 2 or 3 other quarterbacks who ever had that many wins in a 23-game span. But you look at this New York Jets team, and just looking at the numbers, I can't imagine a scenario, and I'm going to knock on wood here, but I cannot imagine a scenario that the New York Jets are able to beat this Philadelphia Eagles team. This Eagles team is just better up and down on both sides of the football. And one of the concerns with this Jet team is how good their defense is. They have a great defense. Well, the problem is, if you look at it statistically, they're giving up a ton of yards, and it's mainly because their offense is so inept. The defense is on the field a ton, but through 5 games, that New York Jets defense is ranked 22nd in the NFL, giving up over 352 yards a game, which is still outrageous. But what's even more outrageous is they are the 29th team in the NFL against the run. They're giving up over 146 yards a game on the ground. And they're going up against the number 2 offense. It's crazy to believe that the Philadelphia Eagles, with how much we've thought they have struggled on offense, are the number 2 offense in the NFL after week 5. They're averaging over 400 yards a game, and they are the number 2 rushing offense, putting up over 164 yards per game. So I expect the Philadelphia Eagles to do what they did last week and really be able to do whatever they want on the offensive side of the ball. Yes, there are some playmakers on that Jets defense, but protect the football, don't turn the ball over, and hopefully this Philadelphia Eagles offense will dominate the game again. Now, the one area of concern has been the red zone, and that's going to be another area of concern against this Jets defense. As bad as the Jets defense has played against the run, and as bad as they've played in total yards given up, they're number 3 in the NFL in the red zone, only allowing teams to convert 31% of the time. So that's been an area this Eagles offense has struggled. They're now 27th in the league after going 2 of 6 in the red zone this past week. So they're number 27 in the league, going against the 3rd best red zone defense. So this will be a big test in that category, and I like it, because we need this team to get better in the red zone, and they got a big test against the New York Jets red zone defense this week. So let's hope the Eagles put it all together. Now, an area where the Eagles will certainly have the advantage is going to be on 3rd down. We talked about it in the first segment, how important it is to convert on 3rd down on offense and stay on the field. Well, this New York Jets defense is one of the worst in the league. 27th in the NFL, giving up 3rd down conversions. And the Philadelphia Eagles, after what they did against the Los Angeles Rams, are now the 2nd best 3rd down offense in the entire NFL. Pretty impressive stuff. So I do expect this offense to be able to put up a lot of yards and a lot of points in this game. And I see you guys all in the chat. I see Know the Signs. Is that a nickname for me? Big Rulo with the thumbs up. I like it. Big Rulo. I'll take it. Jeremy Sunday, there is a 12th offender in the red zone. It's the back of the end zone. We were talking to Todd Herremans about why teams struggle in the red zone, and Jeremy Sunday is right on the money. The end zone makes it a lot harder. It shrinks that field. So now a lot of your plays that are in your playbook go out the window. They go out the window. So that is spot on. And the real RMP saying Jake Elliott is money, but 6s are better than 3s. No doubt about it. So let's hope this Eagles offense can get their thing going today, or excuse me, on Sunday in this red zone against this really tough Jets red zone defense. And then you flip over to the other side, and this is why I just don't think this Jets team has enough firepower on offense with the quarterback position. And I'm trying not to pile on Zach Wilson, but he's clearly not the answer at quarterback for that New York Jets team. And they have not been able to do much. 27th offense in the league. They only are putting up 18 points a game, which puts them at number 24. And the crazier thing is they are the 32nd out of 32 teams for passing the ball. They're only averaging 160 yards per game. and we've seen it on this Eagles defense, your really only shot to try to beat this defense is in the air. They're so good against the run. Number one rushing defense, only giving up 61 yards per game. The Jets have Breece Hall. He's a playmaker from that running back position. But when you cannot throw the ball, like this Jets team has been unable to do through 5 games, got a little better last week. They had a win against Denver. That was more of a billboard or bulletin board material, I should say, game for them after what Sean Payton said about Nathaniel Hackett. So they win that game. That was a big high for them. So I'm expecting not only them to have a letdown this week, I just cannot see them being able to move the football on this Philadelphia Eagles defense, because we know the Eagles are going to shut down the run. And we know they're going to put pressure on Zach Wilson, and they're going to confuse Zach Wilson. And I don't see this Jets team being able to put up anywhere near the amount of points that I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to put up on Sunday, which would bring the Philadelphia Eagles record to start the season at 6-0. And the Jets have a banged-up offensive line. They're giving up 15 sacks on offense, which puts them at number 21 in the league. And we talked about how good the Eagles were on third down defense in that second half against the Rams. Well, I told you the Jets are 32 out of 32 for passing yards. They're also 32 out of 32 on third down, only converting 26% of the time. And they're 31 out of 32 in the red zone, that Jets offense. But the Eagles defense has struggled in the red zone, actually 30th, giving up touchdowns 75% of the time. So 2 areas you want to see the Eagles fix this week is our red zone offense and our red zone defense. And this is the game to do it against this Jets team. Let's hope they can fix some things against this Jets team to really get things rolling and go to 6-0 before the greatest show on surf is what I'm seeing them calling the Miami Dolphins offense. The greatest show on surf with who they got. But that rookie has been hurt. He's out. I think they put him on IR. So that's a little bit of a break for this Philadelphia Eagles team. But if you guys are following along in the chat, what do you think? Do you see any chance that this New York Jets team can beat this Philadelphia Eagles team on Sunday? I'm just not seeing it. Absent some really significant turnovers and some fluky plays, I just can't imagine that Jets team being able to compete with how good this Philadelphia Eagles roster is. But guys, if you follow my Philly Sports Power Hour show, that's every single day. I always like to end the show with a little Today in Sports History. So today is October 10th. So today in sports history, I'm actually wearing a little bit of a Flyers shirt here. So this is a hockey stat, but everybody will know this person. On October 10th, 1979, Wayne Gretzky, the greatest hockey player of all time, scored his first NHL goal for the Edmonton Oilers against the Vancouver Canucks. He scored a lot more goals after that, but on October 10th, 1979, Wayne Gretzky's first goal. Guys, make sure you smash that like button, hit that share button. Make sure you're subscribed to Legal Hands to the Face and JAKIB Sports, and check out my new show Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock, right on the JAKIB Sports Network, the Philly Sports Power Hour. Tomorrow, we're going to talk more Eagles. We'll talk a little bit of Phillies as well, but be sure to check that out. As you heard me mention to Dr. Radcliffe, next week's show will also be pushed to Tuesday because I'm taking the kids to Disney. Well, a Disney cruise. They're really excited. I got a 8-year-old daughter, a 4-year-old son, so they're really excited. But I'll be watching the Jets game from the boat. Don't you worry. Looking forward to that. So I'll come to you guys on Tuesday night. Looking forward to it. I appreciate all the support. Check out all the social media channels. Like, subscribe, share. And as always, go Birds.
There is a reason why the Garden Medical Spa, with 4 locations in New Jersey, has arguably the best customer reviews in America for a boutique medical spa. At the Garden Medical Spa, there is no fluff, just results. For the best in Botox, chemical peels, dermal fillers, hydrofacials, laser hair removal, and so much more, please visit thegardenmedspa.com. Book an appointment now in Voorhees, Sewell, Collingswood, or Northfield. Thegardenmedspa.com. No fluff, just results.